twins. Did you hear me?
That's okay. All right. Well, I think we are ready to roll with this next episode of the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. Welcome to the show. My name is Jason. I am the Car Guy, and my co-host this evening is Grant Tommy, who is
Straight Six Fan, or Six Fan of the Operation. Welcome everybody to episode 3 here of season 4 on the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. And it's my pleasure to introduce our interview for the night, or our special guest. Down below me are Emily and Aaron Reeves of Flying Sparks Garage. Guys, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit of what you're about?
Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here. I'll let Aaron give the rundown of us and our jam.
I'll start it. She may have to jump in at some point. So Emily and I have been together a very long time. It'll be almost 20 years coming up, actually. We got together when she was 14 years old. And I was into cars, so I'm fourth generation diesel mechanic. And so when I started driving and stuff like that, I went into it full bore. Got super excited about it. And because we were together at that time, she reasoned, I guess, that if she was going to spend time with me, it was going to be in the shop. And luckily for me, she got fully involved. And at this point, probably knows a little bit more than I do about some of the stuff. But we started a YouTube channel 5 years ago. It's going pretty good. That's with the current situation, COVID, that's our main source of income, which is kind of cool. New transition for us. And we're just having fun, doing all kinds of stuff from boats to airplanes to cars to whatever makes us tick pretty well.
That's the rundown.
Well, so then, since you guys were lovebirds at such a young age, then one of the questions we love throwing out to our guests is all about first cars. So I feel like then if your relationship started right at that learner's permit age, what were the first whips that the two of you were driving around the high school parking lot?
Yeah, so I was driving a 1978 Datsun 280Z. This car we dated in, first kiss in that car, and it's sitting right over there, just off frame.
Yeah, if you guys go check out the YouTube channel, we have a build series playlist for each of our cars. So his first car, the Datsun, that we built for our actual 10-year wedding anniversary. That car's name is Zen. So the hashtag and the license plate says .Zen instead of .Sun. So that's a really special car to us. And in fact, we've been honored with a 5-page spread in Hot Rod Magazine with that car. Like, that one has been one of our favorite builds on the channel, not only on the channel, but for our hearts, because it's such a special car. My first car, her name is Roxy, and she is an 05 GTO, and that was actually what we were working on when we started the channel. I had gotten headers for Christmas from Aaron, and so the car was on the dyno, and at the time, it was a heads and cam car. And it put down like 460 to the tire, and I was so stoked. And upon the down rev, it started knocking, and I went from ultimate happiness to ultimate sadness, and the oil pump had decided to say deuces. And so we went and got a trailer. It was a really hard day, but then the next couple of days, we decided to start the YouTube channel, and that has totally changed our lives. We've worked so hard building it and working on the cars and working to make money to support it. And now, thankfully, it's supporting us. So this past season on Roxy, on my GTO, we did a build for Hot Rod Drag Week, which was epic because not only did the car get a Ford 9-inch rear end and a supercharger and all kinds of supporting modifications around that, but I got to drag race for the first time at Hot Rod Drag Week, and it was insane. So, so fun.
Well, what's awesome about those two stories is the fact that you each still have those cars.
Yes.
So before we get too far into the show, we want to welcome everybody who's listening to us after the fact on our podcast, the Car Guy and Six Fan podcast, which is available on SoundCloud. We also want to take a second to recognize everybody who has jumped into the chat. We've got Mustang Guy, 6501. We've got America Bumper to Bumper. Hey, Kip, how's it going? Auto Alley. We've also got Boost Rodeo. Ken from Spider Garage is there, and we're going to have some more people jumping in as the night goes on. Paul's Speed Shop has also joined us. So as we kind of, get into the nuts and bolts of what, Flying Sparks Garage is, you've talked about the Datsun, you've talked about Roxy, and before we went live, I mentioned to you that I was so hoping that the backdrop for this video or this live stream was going to be Garfield. I started watching you guys with relation to the Junkyard Digs episode where he came and helped you guys get this thing running and ready for that. What was it, a 500-mile road trip back to Texas?
Yeah, closer to 700, I think.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that story and how how you came into contact with Junkyard Digs and the trip home.
Sure. So we found this truck because we were on Power Tour one year, and I posted a really awesome utility body C10 on my Instagram, and I had a fan drop me a message and say, hey, there's one just like that in my town that's for sale, and the dude is asking a super great price for it. And I showed it to Aaron, and I was like, I want this truck. And so literally a few months later, we were driving to Iowa to pick it up. And so whenever we posted that we were headed there, Kevin had reached out, Junkyard Digs, he had reached out and he was like, you guys are coming to my hood. I want to come meet y'all. I want to come hang out. Let's wrench together. Let's do a collab. And so we haven't done many collabs with our YouTube channel. And so we were really stoked about that because, obviously he's killing it. Like he's really hit a niche that's so freaking good, and he is great, and his precious girlfriend is also doing awesome stuff. So we were stoked about it. We were like, bring it on, dude. So that was a really fun episode to shoot and fun adventure.
Yeah, for those of you new to the Car Guy at Six Fan show, we actually had Kevin and Junkyard Digs Mook as well on season 3, so definitely go through our playlist and go look that one up. That was a great interview as well. But I like that you guys outdid your inspiration. It was a C10, but you guys found a C20 actually, so that's, I always often forget about that. I'll see your Instagram pics and I'll often forget you've got is it a 6 or 8 lug vehicle, but
it's 8.
8, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong though too, a part of your inspiration for the build was so that because of you guys are such big Hot Rod Power Tour fans that so much of what that event's about is helping people on the side of the road, and what a better vehicle to do than Garfield.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a dream.
Yeah, we had gone to Power Tour so many times and just, built a fast car or built a flashy car or whatever and just enjoyed it. And we thought, you know what, we need to do something different. So this whole trip, it was like, let's just load this thing down with tools. And if we can help, we help. And we're not in such a big hurry to get to the venue. And we stop on the side of the road, hang out, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that is just simply part of the car community. It doesn't matter what you're driving. You can be on the giving or the receiving end of help along the side of the highway somewhere, and it's so much better to give than to receive sometimes. And when you're able, having that truck is just doing it in style. That's all.
Right.
Exactly.
So we've done Garfield, we've done Roxy, we've done the Dat Zen, and you're currently working on a build that seems to have hit a really big nerve with a lot of people, especially with the release of the 2021 Bronco. Tell us a little bit about that project and how that came about.
Yeah, so that one's really fun. We've had that truck for probably 6 or 7 years, maybe. I'd always wanted one, but they real quickly got out of my price range.
Oh, yeah.
Probably it's been 10 years that they've been inflated. And we just happened in this situation. It was parked on the side of the road. We're actually going out for a date night. And it was sitting over there, and I said, man, I really want one of those, but I'm not going to stop and look at it because I had other projects that I needed to be doing. And she said, man, if you want it that bad, let's at least look at it. So the deal was, it was a one-owner vehicle. It had 26,000 miles on it. The transmission was sitting in the back in a case, and they wanted $6,000 for it. So we went to the bank, got the money, bought it, and then it's really funny. On the way home, it's on the trailer. We dropped the transmission at the transmission shop. This is a Friday, I think. And I said, man, I don't ever call in favors, but if you can get this done quick, it would mean a lot to me. So Monday, back up a little bit. So we pull the engine out, pressure check the cylinders and everything, make sure it's good, paint it, throw it back in. Monday, we pick our transmission up, and we're driving it by like Tuesday, just having a ball. And we drove it in that condition for, I don't know, 6 years probably. And the poor engine, it had gotten some rust in it, and it was so worn out. You'd pull up in park, and the side steps would drip oil. It would have like a trace around the vehicle because it was so worn out. So about a year ago, we tore it down and started rebuilding it.
Yeah, so we just completed an EFI swap. We got a 5.0 roller motor out of a Fox body, and we upgraded the transmission to an AOD. We worked with Gearstar on the transmission, and it is insanely rad. So we did the trans swap, we did the 5.0 roller motor swap, and we put a Holley Sniper on it. And we've just finished shooting the first crank up and where the system is self-learning. So that's really fun. And so we have a few tweaks, like we've got to just like fix some loose bolts, exhaust leaks. We're getting the drive shaft shortened.
Yeah, I dropped those off this morning to get them changed.
Yeah.
Lengthen the front one and shorten the back one.
Yep. So she'll be back on the road real soon. And the suspension's still super crappy. So, and we need disc brakes. Like there's stuff that will continue to happen and unfold with the Bronco, but she's going to be back on the road, and we're so ready because she is such a sweet rig. Betty Boop the Bronco.
Yep.
So, of course, I know you guys love your Hot Rod Drag Week and Hot Rod Power Tour. So, this 2020 is making it a little difficult on the car culture and how we can get out and enjoy ourselves, especially when we complete a ride. But what would your hope be for the first destination for Betty Boop when you kind of feel like you've got everything troubleshooted?
Well, we love camping and we love off-roading and trail riding. And Ian Johnson is a buddy of ours. And for years, he's like, you guys need to do Road to SEMA with me. And we just didn't have anything off-road worthy that we wanted to take. And so really this year, we hadn't planned on going on Power Tour for the first year in a long time because we wanted to do Road to SEMA with Ian and drive it from Cali to Vegas. And then the Bronco has a place at SEMA, has a parking spot. But at this point, like, I have no idea what SEMA's going to unfold to do. Right now they're saying it's going to happen, but I just don't know. Even like down to going when we're not essential. I mean, we're entertainment, we're there for signings and we're there to meet fans and we're there to document it for people that can't be there.
And connect with the companies.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's a business side that it can sometimes happen at SEMA, but a lot of times SEMA is just so nutty that you pass business cards, but then later, a lot of the business takes place later. But I don't know what will happen with SEMA this year.
So that was the initial plan, obviously. A dream trip, I think it'd be really cool to take this thing out to the PCH and do
Highway 1.
3 or 4 days, just out cruising around, doing some camping and stuff like that. That would be a dream trip.
Yep.
Top down, cruising the coast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Heavenly.
So speaking of cruising, you guys recently posted a video about a boat. Listen to me talking like a Canadian. About this specific hole in the water you throw money at, and the very first thing you had to do was spend $1,800 or something like that on a.
It's $1,250, but see, the deal on this boat is, I've been looking for one of these for about 3 years, and they're about $30,000. It's a large boat, 28-foot cabin cruiser, and there's no way I was going to delegate funds to that. Really funny situation. We were actually coming back from Arkansas. We'd been up there for a few days, and get a text from a friend that says, "Hey man, I know this is what you're looking for. This dude took it out. He just got stranded on the water. His family's hot. He's aggravated. He said he'll give it to you for $5,000." So I'm like, "I'll take it."
Don't take it.
And then,
as fast as we could get over there, we were like, "Oh my god!"
We're having this conversation. We're like, "Well, it's floating in the water right now. Like, where are we going to get a trailer to put this giant boat on?" So we go over there to pay him, and he's like, "Oh no, the trailer comes with it."
And this trailer is worth more than what we paid for the boat. Like, this trailer is sick.
It's a 35-foot aluminum triple axle trailer. So yeah. Yes, we had to spend money on it, but we were in it so cheap it didn't really matter at that point.
Yeah, all the boat acronyms that we've heard the past few days were like, break out another 1,000, all the things. we're like, yeah, but this is really actually like kind of a smart business decision. We could make money
So
with this boat.
here's what's funny. I keep reading all those comments. I'm like, yeah, I have a hard time not arguing with people because when I was 17, I bought my first boat and it had a blown up engine in it. So I went to the junkyard, got an engine, put it in there. I think we used it 2 summers, flipped it, made a profit on it. Then we bought another boat, a Baja. Similar thing. It had set outside, so the floors were trashed on it. So I replaced everything. Again, made a profit on it, and we've done that. I mean, for almost 20 years now. We'll buy a boat, make $2,000 or $3,000 on it, and then use it for 3 or 4 years. So it doesn't work that way for everyone, and it could change at any moment. We've been pretty fortunate.
So we've done a lot of talking about your projects and all this, and of course you've highlighted a lot of this stuff and your journey through these projects over the years on your YouTube channel. Obviously, that's why we have you here. We want to know, what was the catalyst? Obviously, you said Roxy was kind of with the knocking engine and this and that, but what was the catalyst to continue pushing forward, making videos, editing, all that stuff? And as a follow-up to that question, at what point did you know your channel was growing to success?
Well, so when we started the channel, I really, really loved the idea of bringing in the family aspect. Initially, it was just me on camera because Aaron was like, they don't want to see some dude on there. They want to see a girl, working on an engine. And I'm like, well, okay, we'll do that for the engine build. Well, after that is when we really started wrenching together, and we started getting all of this awesome feedback because it was like dads watching with their daughters, and husbands would finally get their wives to watch something automotive related because it was also like kind of like a love story in lieu of building a hot rod. And so just all of the positive feedback that we've gotten from people that have been inspired by watching us wrench on stuff and do it in a loving manner. We don't fight.
Says the editor. Says the editor, though.
Yeah. Well, I have to edit all of his cuss words out. Just kidding. I'm the one that cusses. It's really neat because it's forced us to be who we really want to be with each other. Like, as a couple, you get in a rut, especially when you've been together so many years. We just know each other so well. So there's a lot of times when it's just kind of like nonverbal communication and all that sort of stuff. But when the cameras are rolling and we're talking about our project that we really are passionate about, it helps us be aware and keep each other accountable. Who do you want to be right now? What do we want to express to the world as to who we are? Well, this is who we want to be. This is who we are. And so it's a really good thing because for us, initially I was like, I really want to get viewership. I want this to grow. But then our niece was on there with us and she lives right next door. And I just had this realization. I'm like, dude, if nobody watches these videos and I just have them for down the road when Aliyah is like 25 or 30 and we are in our 60s or however old we'll be, how cool and amazing and awesome and special will it be to have those videos? Even if not another single person watches them. And so it changed my perspective. And anytime I get a message from people like, I've always wanted to do a YouTube channel, but it seems like a lot of work. I'm like, look, if you have something that you're building, that you're passionate about, make videos on it. Because what if your son ends up with that car and he has videos? So much more to it than just views and just being popular or having followers. It's when you're in the automotive space and it brings you so much happiness to look at the big picture of things, make videos and put them online, put them somewhere. It's so special.
The inspiration to get girls out in the shop, or in the rare case, maybe a girl's in the shop and she's got to get her man out there. I don't know. But that was a big deal for us. We've always been a couple that we do everything together. Like I'm a private pilot. Emily sat in the back seat for a lot of the training just because she wanted to be a part of what I was doing, which is crazy. I can't imagine me doing that for her.
I had a lot of barfy moments, but it's okay.
I definitely would too. I had those same moments, but I was in the front. But because our life's been so rich and we've had so many adventures because we do have that mindset. It's when we started getting that feedback that we're inspiring other people to do it, it was just like gasoline on the fire. It was like, okay, we got to do this more and more and more. Any chance we get.
Yep.
Well, see, you talk about the benefits of legacy. You talk about the benefits of affecting people that you might not even know. You talk about your niece outgrowing her first pair of mechanics gloves, things like that. Sorry, I shouldn't have. But what some of the questions coming in from the chat are kind of like they're playing in nicely to the things you're saying, and I know. I think maybe one of the ways I found your channel was probably through a third-party acquaintance. But Ken and his son Nathaniel of Spider Garage, he was speaking a lot towards how much, you guys are wanting to help encourage, make it less taboo. Like women, girls should want a wrench too. But like even as the son and father-son combo, they've pulled a lot from it. So that kind of brings me to the next question: is the relationship aspect of this, because you're affecting people that you might not even know. What is maybe some of the craziest? Do you have what's the wildest like relationship story? I mean, I know like Jacob Ross, or what's the old hot rod editor?
Yeah,
gosh,
Jacob Davis. Yes.
Yeah, he stopped by your place to wrench on the Greenhorn A, and like just what are some of the wildest relationships that you feel like you've developed through this journey that you never thought you would have?
Oh, there's so many of them. That's a really hard one to answer.
I mean, I think the wildest, the guys of Roadkill, we met them the first year that we premiered Roxy's build in 2015. We met Freiberger and Finnegan, and it was really funny because I had been really persistently bugging the editor-in-chief of Hot Rod Magazine at the time, David Kennedy, because Aaron and I had worked so hard on these videos and building Roxy and Comp Cams. We worked with them, and so Roxy was going to be at the booth, and so I hustled up all of this buzz with the editor-in-chief of Hot Rod and was telling him we were going to be there. This is great. People can watch the videos. And I was providing lots of content for him that he was reposting on Hot Rod, just like us doing a burnout, leaving the house, and like he posted on Hot Rod, like who else is leaving out for Power Tour, like Emily and Aaron are, just like all this content. And at one point he was like, I can't appreciate you enough right now. Like you are helping me so much, taking pictures around Power Tour and giving me content. And I'm like, that's my jam, dude. I love doing this. And he said, is there any way I can repay you? And I was like, well, I mean, actually, I'd like to meet Freiberger and Finnegan. And because, of course, they're role models, right? So they're doing this awesome thing, and they've created a movement. I mean, because Roadkill, it's a freaking movement, right? So I get a text back from David Kennedy, and he was like, actually, why don't we all have dinner together tonight? And I freaked out. I was like, what? We're having dinner with Roadkill? This is crazy. And so it was a great dinner. And after that, we just became friends. And I think that Finnegan and Freiberger are both extremely different people, and they loved us for different reasons. Like Freiberger likes to break things down, and he's very direct and poignant and hardcore information.
Yep.
And Finnegan just loves you for who you are, and just, not that Freiberger doesn't, but he's just hardcore. They're just really differently wonderful people, and they've both helped us so much, and just becoming friends with them has been very, very special. But there's so many elements and so many different people that have meant so much to us along the way, that started out mentors and became friends.
Well, and that's kind of where, YouTube has led Grant and I together. We always talk like we're an old married couple, the way we have so much in common, the way we do the show together and all this stuff. But we just met by happenstance. We both have the same passion for weird cars. You can see over my shoulder here, it's a Chrysler Cordoba. Nobody hot rods a Chrysler Cordoba. That just doesn't happen. I did it. And Grant has an old Fairmont that he's working on as well. So that's how sometimes people get together. They share common interests and they develop that relationship. Grant and I have known each other for almost 2 years now. So, and we're halfway across the continent from each other.
Yes.
So that's why when we started doing this Car Guy and Six Fan show, we initially did it to each get ourselves to 1,000 subscribers. and help the YouTube automotive community do the same thing. If you're out there and you want to have the opportunity to show off your little niche, whatever that happens to be, we want to help you do it. We want to highlight you here on our show, even though we're just small, but someone's going to see it somewhere along the way. That kind of leads us into a segue of the next part of our show that says, what advice would you have to up and coming YouTube creators to get your name out there, get your show out there, get your whatever it is you're doing out there for the public?
Yeah, I think Emily's best answering that part of it because she's really responsible for most of the growth. I can, once she gets done, I can tell a little bit about coming from a very shy person that did not want to be on camera, but saw the need and it's decided to try and get good at it. But I guess.
Yeah. So that's those two go hand in hand. Wanting to do a show, but then you're apprehensive about being on camera. So I was all about doing the show. Let's do this, babe. And he's like, I really don't want to be on camera. I don't like the sound of my own voice. I don't want to be, If
you don't know, Emily's career for the whole time we've been married is she's a model and actress. That's her main gig. That's what she's always done. So this was all like right in her wheelhouse. I mean, she just supernatural at it.
Very seamless. And I feel confident in jumping in there and talking about products that I love because marketing with your voice and your appearance and all that stuff is what I grew up doing. I started the same year and I got together when I was 14, working for like department stores and JCPenney and doing commercials for like fast food restaurants and stuff. I'm like, I freaking love this burrito. And I did. But like now it's car parts and that's way more exciting to me. So there's many different levels. Get your courage up to be on camera, whether you're comfortable with it or not. Get your courage up to be wrong publicly, because whether you think you're an expert, whether you are right, there's going to be people that are going to talk crap about it. And you just have to be cool with it. I mean, for us, we make mistakes all the time. And a lot of times we'll be like, golly, I don't want to show that, or I don't want to talk about that, or we're going to get so much hassle for that. But you know what? Oh, well, we learned and someone can learn too. And that's why a lot of people like us is because we're honest and we just show our mistakes. So just get over all those hurdles of being perfect or not looking great on camera or whatever it is, or maybe nobody will watch it. And what if I'm a failure?
Yeah. And it's so important to start where you're at, because if you're thinking, well, I'm not real good at running a camera, or I'm not real good on camera, those things are probably true because you haven't done it very often. So the more you do it and the more you push yourself and the more, this is the worst thing for me, the more you see yourself on camera, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to modify that. That didn't sound like I wanted it to. Yeah. So you just start to develop that talent and grow. But the point is, it's not going to be good in the beginning, at least not by your standards, probably. The audience, I mean, in our case, the audience loved it from day one.
Well, and that's what I always tell people starting out too. It's like, trust me, your first video should be your worst ones. If they were your best, that means you're getting worse.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. One other thing that I was going to add, because you asked about growth and how do you grow and how do you get viewers. So I haven't done this in a long time, but I need to. I would go on to all the Facebook groups that I could find and all the Instagram pages that I could find about whatever we were working on. So if it's LS swaps or pro touring builds or off-road builds, or even if it's just like something simple like paintwork, or what if you're a badass TIG welder, go in and find those niches of people that love the same things, just like you guys did, and share what you're doing there, because those people are going to be the ones that are going to latch on and they'll share it with their friends. And slowly, as people view it, it will continue to grow. But it takes a lot of time and legwork to go in and find those pages and find those groups. And you also really need to work hard to try and create really good content, take great pictures, make a great moment, capture a great moment, whether it's a fun burnout or something breaks and you show failure. People love failure. We capture that and be proud with it and move forward and introduce yourself to page owners, Facebook group that has, 100,000 followers or whatever, just send them a message and don't be beggy. Oh, I've just started. Will you please share my? No, be confident. Hey, I have a blast building these awesome machines that whatever it is I'm into. And, I know that your page is looking for really great content and I'm here to provide some to you. If you need more, let me know.
Yeah,
you're doing a great job. Be confident.
That's important. So those pages, those guys are scrambling just as much as we are to try to get content out rapidly. So if you can hand them something on a platter that says, I think your audience will like this, there's a pretty good chance they'll post it if it's good.
Yeah. So just keep trying and be confident and find your people and hope that they share it. And then when that begins to grow, then you'll continue to get more traction.
Aaron, I wanted to go back to something you said about hating your voice in the beginning, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. And while I really do believe in like equipment doesn't make the channel, it doesn't. But I did find that you can pick out your voice sounds really horrible on crappy microphones, and so because I got into podcasting first, I had to get comfortable real quick with the way my voice sounded. Right. And so that was for me to the transition into YouTube was a little easier because I had gone through that like. Oh, okay. Like people don't have to see my facial expressions through podcasting. So there's ways to you can always ease into it different ways. But I also think, what you tapped into earlier when you talked about, when it started, it was just Emily, but then you took off when it became the couple on the screen. And I always go back to Sean Kinnell of Think Media always says that different is better than better. Like if somebody is already doing something out there that you want to do, like a channel style, well, when you find the way to put that little different spin and be completely unique, I mean, I feel like you guys were probably one of the first, dynamic duos, if you will, wrenching together. And I think that's definitely why people are drawn to that. Like you said, it's the family aspect. But
yeah,
we
hope
kind
so.
of. Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to try to transition to, as we try to wrap up the show, we always start to look at what's next, what's coming up next on all of our channels. And so I'll kind of toss it to you guys. What kind of peek behind the curtains? What's coming down the pike from Flying Sparks Garage?
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about projects?
Yeah.
So things are going to be different because we're in COVID times. So we have some stuff that we need to get done, and we're going to have to take the channel along with that. So we just bought a 40-foot race trailer with the hopes that we're going to be going to car shows and stuff, but we're not going to be using that trailer anytime soon. So we're going to go through the process of restoring that on the channel and putting a bathroom in it, and it's got a gooseneck, so we're going to put a bedroom up there and all that good stuff. And so we'll be doing that on the channel. We've got this boat stuff that people seem to be interested in, so we'll show more of that, I think, as we continue to work on the boat.
Yeah, so this year we committed ourselves to not doing another full build. So we're going to be tinkering with each of our projects. Mm-hmm. Like Garfield needs disc brakes, Garfield needs steering work. There's always ways that you can better your projects, and we really want to do that this year. So Roxy's getting a really sick transmission from Tick Performance because my second gear synchros were total junk on drag week, and I would have been so much faster if I hadn't. Just kidding. my 60-foot was killed because of my wonderful drive. No, not my driving. It was those second gear synchros. So Roxy's going to get transmission. Betty's going to get suspension and disc brakes. Zen will get, we need to put her transmission back in her because we had it ripped out because Roxy was going to use it. Zen has a handful of little quirky things, but mostly she's just ready to rip. She's super cool. And we've got also, we have this 66 Fury in our backyard that belonged to a friend of ours. And that may be entering the show toward the end of the year, beginning of next year, because it's a super special car and it has a special story. And we may be doing some Mopar stuff, which will be new for us. So yeah, there's lots to be tuned in on.
Yeah, so if you're doing Mopar stuff, then I guarantee you Chris Birdsong will be knocking on your door one more time.
Oh, yeah. He cracks me up. I love him.
So, Grant, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's coming up on Straight Six Fan with the Fairmont in the next week or so?
Yeah, well, speaking of Chris Birdsong, so one of his good friends, Scott Speed Shop, Jed Scott from Scott Speed Shop, helped me because he's Mr. Carburetor Extraordinaire, helped bail me out of I may or may not have torqued off some little screws on my throttle blades on the carburetor I'm rebuilding. So he bailed me out, was it Tuesday night, Wednesday night? I don't know, whatever, sometime this week. So it'll be more carb rebuild here coming up on Sunday. But Jason, what do we have to expect from Old Car Guy?
Well, you guys all know back about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I went on a little journey, a first journey out of town in Dale the truck to pick up a new OBS bench seat. So that's been sitting in the garage taking up space for so long. This past weekend, I finally did that swap, and I got the OBS seat mounted and retrofitted in Dale, so you guys can check that video coming out on Saturday. And the old Quadrajet, we finally got that done. You guys have seen that install video, and we're fine-tuning on it, getting it working. And boys, I tell you what, all you haters on the Quadrajets out there, stop, because this is, I don't know where this carburetor has been my whole life. I've been Edelbrock on everything I've ever done. I finally put this in place, and like, I've never had a carburetor burn the tires or smoke the tires, work that well. Anyways, so we got some mods that we're doing to the Quadrajet. Stay tuned for that. We got lots coming up on Dale and some of those fine tuning, like you guys said. Every project has a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done. So that is something that we're looking forward to doing really soon.
Well, we try to stick the show in between like the 35-minute, 40-minute mark, and we're encroaching up on that pretty fast. But I did want to there was one, maybe two questions that came in from the chat. So I wanted to address those real quick, especially since one does come from our friend Ken over at Spider Garage. And he's asking you guys, since Drag Week is canceled, are you considering attending Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0 in September, which I was excited to see because I was actually able to attend one leg of it as I live here in Kansas here, a month ago, and I had a blast just in the one stop. So you guys thinking about maybe some Rocky Mountain Drag Week 2.0?
Yeah, we're thinking about it.
Yeah, it's we've always wanted to do Rocky Mountain Race Week just because of the scenery, and we love that part of the country. Obviously, 2.0 is not going to be the Rocky Mountains. It's going to be what's nicer because it's closer to us. But yeah, I mean, I think that is a definite possibility. I was texting with David Newbern because, of course, last year at Drag Week, we were like Drag Week fam when Blasphemy was running and Roxy was running to get parts constantly. And so we're so in if they're in. There's a few elements for us that we'll have to work out, but yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Hi, Ken, we love you.
And one of our other questions came early.
Ken. And Nathaniel.
Yeah, one of our questions came early in the chat, and I want to just kind of hold off until we got to this part of the show. And the question goes to Aaron, and it was coming from, lost my spot here, sorry. Classic Drivers Garage, and he is asking about how you got into piloting.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. So I would say the initial inspiration came from one of my uncles flew me when I was a young kid, and but the reason I actually became a pilot is as Emily's modeling started to pick up, I was mortified at the thought of flying, and she had all these opportunities. She was bouncing all over the country, all over the world, in fact, and I wouldn't go because I was scared. So I figured if I could learn to understand airplanes, then I might get comfortable with them. So I went to the local airport and started taking lessons. And it didn't take long, and I got super hooked on it. And then we ended up landing in this super sweet deal where we bought Emily's childhood airplane that a family friend had flown. So we bought his airplane, and I finished my license in that, and that's been almost 5 years now. And we just have a blast in it.
Well, Emily and Aaron, I just want to tell you thanks on behalf of Jason for carving some time out of your Thursday night. We really enjoyed the conversation. This has been real fun. And I mean, this is why Jason and I do what we do. It's a blast. But wanted to remind those who are catching this show on the podcast on SoundCloud.com you don't get to ask questions when you're listening to the podcast. So make sure you're subscribed to both Old Car Guy on YouTube and Straight Six Fan myself. I will be hosting this show next week. So you get your chance to ask questions when you're on the YouTube live stream. But with that, Jason, any other kind of parting shots, if you will?
Yeah, I think, again, I'll take the same opportunity to thank you guys for taking your time and being with us. We are just a small channel. You guys are, you're knocking on 100K. And congratulations on just rolling over to 90. But, we want to make sure that everybody has the same opportunity to go over to your guys' channel if they don't know who you are. I've left a link in the description box below, so you can head over to Flying Sparks Garage, hit them up, help them get to 100K and beyond. And I guarantee you won't be disappointed with the content that they have to offer over there. So, guys, thank you so much. We're going to close out this show, guys. Everybody in the chat, once again, thanks for being a part of the Car Guy and Six Fan show. And I'm going to turn it over to Grant for his final words.
Yeah, once again, go hit up Flying Sparks Garage here on YouTube. Go give them at least a shot. Go watch a video or two. Give them a like. You don't have to love their stuff, but give them a chance. All right, like that's what we ask all of you guys to do in the chat with each other. This is how we all grow. We find new channels and learn some tips and tricks from each other. So thanks again, guys. But just real quick reminder again, we alternate every other week. So it'll be on my channel 7 o'clock Central next Thursday. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this episode. And until next time, peace out.